Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of MajorMinor Complete Edition. When we last left off, we chose the side of the assassins. Got some seemingly obvious tropes for stories. You know, the king's the big bad guy. He wants possible galaxy universal domination. We got an assassin who doesn't seem to be a very good assassin with his blind loyalty, and PB and Fidget are more than what they appear to be, which was a little unexpected. So let us continue on here. Yes, alright. Meanwhile, in the comfort of your tavern room, took a few hours for the tavern to come to a lull. I'm assuming it was last call or something like that. I heard many doors open and close as things got quiet, including the rooms of Damien and Conrad. Were they going to sleep, or were they going to listen in case something happens? I'm suddenly a little paranoid that I'm being watched. Oh well. It's not like I was doing anything illicit. I made myself comfortable in the luxurious bed. I'm not sure if I dozed off or fell asleep. But before I knew it, I was jerked into coherence. There was a loud knocking at my door. I took crooked steps toward it, utterly groggy. I rub my eyes in an effort to make my vision clearer. The knocking starts to get more vigorous in nature. I can hear someone panting on the other side. Sounds like somebody's panicking. This kicks me into high gear and I rush to the door. But when I open it, I'm not sure who it is. Oh, thank goodness you opened the door. Another moment longer and... He pants heavily as he closes the door behind him. I don't trust him. He locks it as well. That's a little concerning. Sorry, I promise you no harm. I can explain. Please listen. He presses his back against the door. I'm assuming so nobody can open it with him in place. He holds up a piece of torn fabric. It's stained with blood. What? My master went insane. He attacked me and tried to kill me. I ran to the nearest place I could find. I open my mouth to call for Damien and Conrad. He gasps and steps forward, urging me to keep quiet. He says he doesn't want anyone to know where he is. He steps towards the middle of the room. He places his hand on his head in confusion. Why? Why would he do this to me? Blair was always a kind master. Blair? That's the one Damien and Conrad wanted to oust. He attacked his servant? Why would he do that? Suddenly, I realized the urgency of the situation. If anything, this man's testimony could be invaluable. I ask him his name and give him mine in return. Oops. Of course, my name is Riley. Thank you for your shelter, Elsina. I nod. I start to feel uncomfortable near the door. I move away and place him between the door and myself. I stand against the wall, my back pressed against it. I won't be here long. I promise. I just need to gather my bearings. It was a shocking thing, you know? It's all just throwing me for a loop. You never expect these things to happen. It's so sudden, and I'm just scared. I noticed his demeanor suddenly changed. Almost like his panic vanished in an instant. He seemed to calm down rather quickly. He places the bloody fabric on the floor. Why in the world would he do that? I decide to ask him what he's doing. Sorry. It's just making me relive this. I gotta get it out of my hands for good. Or else I'll keep dwelling on what happened. He stands up and looks me in the eye. And it needs to look like you struggled. You'll have to forgive me for this. In that moment, and in an instant, he is upon me. He pins me against the wall, squeezing my throat. I start to panic and try kicking him off, but I can't. He uses his own feet to keep mine in place. Shush. I try to pry his hands off my throat, but he's strong. I start to lose my strength, my vision fading. I slide down the wall as my body becomes weak. He growls fiercely as I start to lose consciousness. The last thing I notice is the look on his face. He displays pure regret, like he didn't want this. In the last few moments, I hope that someone rescues me, but it doesn't happen, and my vision fades for good. Did I just die? Sleep well, Savior. Breathtaking events. Yeah, did I lose? Like, what's going on here? Well then, Rayo. Things are becoming more complicated. Many men aspire to usurp my throne, and this time, they're getting close. Closer than I've ever experienced. It's almost like a game to them. Like a Game of Thrones. Boo. Alright. But it's trivial in the face of our goal. It's fun to watch, though. Seems that Righty suspects you, but his theories are incredibly wrong. Indeed. Our fault for being secret. People think that I have something to hide, or that I bear some sort of ill intent. Perhaps I should have been open about this. It would have been more noble, at least. Noble? Yeah, but not fun. I like the idea of keeping it secret. Rayo, my goal here is not to have fun. I seek a very important change. But my end of the bargain still stands? Yes. Earth is yours to play with. I have no need for it anymore. Not while Elsina is present on Terra. Well, about that. I'll be sending Elsina back to Earth. At least for the time being. Why? They have to keep up appearances. I can't just rob them from their home. We have to juggle here, Velasquez. They have 2 lives to live now. But don't worry, I'll bring them back. I just have a plan of my own to enact. A plan of your own? Indeed. Life on Tokyo is going to change. Things were just too boring before. I decided to shake it up a little bit. I see. You'll find out what I mean soon enough. Things will get harder for Elsina, but it'll help them realize their role. Being the savior isn't all fun and games. A great danger will soon befall Tokyo, and it will claim the lives of many more. Sinister planned achievement unlocked. Okay. Where am I? And what's going on? I remember getting choked unconscious by Riley. But then why am I still conscious? I feel awake and disconnected. It's like my spirit left my body or something. I'm still fully aware of my surroundings. Or at least, the lack thereof. Even so, I feel disconnected from my body. Is this death? I feel a large rush of speed. Much like the first time I was sent to Terra. This time, I'm able to bear the pain more easily. And as it subsides, I hit solid ground with a thud. First, my sense of touch returns. I'm face down on some sort of carpet. Wait, the hotel room carpet. Back on Earth? As my sense of sight returns, this fact is confirmed. My instincts want me to rise to my feet, but as it stands, that's currently impossible. I try to move my hands, but they're frozen stiff. And I mean that in the literal sense. I'm so cold. How long was I lying here? Did the hotel not have any heating? After strenuous effort, I'm able to move one finger. And then soon after, I can move another. Then another. I focus on this until I can move all of my digits. When this is through, I have control of my hands. I use them to push myself up. And then soon after, I can move my feet as well. I bring myself up to a standing position. That was odd. Almost like I had a defrost. I scan the room and notice Keela is lying on the floor. We're in the same spot as we were before, like we hadn't moved since the news report came on. The sun enters the room through a nearby window. It's not night anymore. Day has broken. I rush over to his body and kneel down beside him. I give him gentle shakes while I call out his name. He's frozen stiff, just like I was before. He's cold to the touch, like a lifeless corpse. I start to panic and shake him even more, my voice becoming desperate as I call out to him. After a few straight minutes of this, he starts to move. He follows the same procedure as myself. First the fingers, then the hands, and so on. Moments pass, and he stands up in confusion. Huh? What happened? Did I just... He rubs his eyes like he's waking up after a long sleep. He lets out a yawn and a stretch, utterly confused. My body is so stiff. Mine is as well, but I brush that fact aside. There are more important matters at hand. I ask Keela what he remembers about last night. Clace. I must have passed out in shock. I think it's all a blur. Please tell me that isn't true. If he died, then what happens to us? I don't want to go home, Elsina. I must have been dreaming. Please tell me I was dreaming. He grips my shoulder and shakes me a few times. It's like he's demanding something he knows isn't real. But I can't let him live in some sort of fantasy world. He has to know the truth of what happened. And so, I let him know that it was true. Clace passed away last night. He was murdered. No! I want him to come back. We have to bring him back. I'm not sure how to respond to him. It's very clear that he's in denial. He starts to pace around the room, talking to himself. Soon enough, it seems like he's forgotten that I'm here. But that's not the only thing he's forgotten. I realize that Clace's death is all he remembers. He doesn't mention Tara, like it never happened. Why would he forget, if I remembered? Does it have to do with me being the savior? If so, then why was he even brought at all? It's very confusing, and I skipped the arc this time. I have no idea why, and I'm filled with questions. I thought I was needed in Terra, to save it. I can't believe it, but I want to see that man again. How could I go meet the king if I'm stuck on Earth? What would Endymion and Conrad be thinking right now? Especially if Keela was right about the time difference. I'd have to get back there as soon as possible. There's no telling what could happen in my absence. I could have sworn they said it was impossible to leave. That Terra was a one-way street and I'd be stuck. Before I can get too deep into thought, my phone rings. I pick it up instinctively and greet the other end. The ringing seems to shoot Keela back into reality. I know he zones out, but that was something else. Hey there, Elsina. Jada's on her way to pick you up. She says she'll be there in 5 minutes. And don't turn on the TV, alright? I'm not sure if you heard the news or not, but the media is making a lot of stuff up. Better wait and talk to Singe in person. He's making a public statement soon, too. Probably best if you waited until then. Either way, I have to go. See you soon. He abruptly hangs up the phone. I could hear lots of voices in the background. Things must be getting hectic for those close to Clace. I wonder if things would get hectic for us as well. Things were starting to get complicated and unclear. I started to wonder what fate awaited Keela and myself. Hey, who was that? Before I can answer him, my phone rings again. I pull it out of my pocket. This time, it's a text. But the contents of it send shivers down my spine. I'm watching you. What? Who could this be? Why are they saying this? It has to be some kind of prank. Well, I let Keela know that it was just Brooke. He said that Jade will be picking us up shortly. Singe will be telling us the full story. Actually, we should already be downstairs. Alright, I'll see you down there then. He runs off as fast as he can. I can tell that he's in denial. He clearly doesn't want to talk about this. But after all that's happened, I can't blame him. Before leaving, I close all of the blinds. I guess that text message got the better of me. Even if it was a joke, it would leave anyone scared. I leave the room with paranoia eating away at me. I make my way down to the lobby. As soon as I get there, I see Keela exiting the hotel. Seems to be in a hurry, scurrying away. He can run, but of course, he can't run forever. I start to follow, but quickly bump into someone. Take a step back and apologize to the woman. But then I realize I've seen them before, under the exact same circumstances as well. You. Oh, my apologies. That was rude. I was just surprised to see you here. Tokyo must be smaller than we think. So, you're staying here too? I nod, remembering that Rook said it was expensive. If she could afford it, just who is this woman? You can call me Max. It's short for Maxine, but don't say that. It sounds strange in this day and age. I'm here for business. And let's just say my company isn't cheap. Only the best when it comes to travel. The way she says this implies that she owns a company. That's definitely impressive, as she seems very young. I see that you are on your way out. I'll let you get on with your busy day. I didn't mean to hold you up or anything. Perhaps if I see you again, we'll talk? It would be nice to get more acquainted. Not just anybody can stay in this hotel. I'm sure you have a story to tell. And I have all the time in the world. She walks away from me with a smile. As she does so, she plays with the gear on her necklace. I feel like I've seen that before. It stands out to me. I change my course back to the exit. But before I can get there, my phone rings again. It's a text message, as the tone doesn't repeat. I'm extremely hesitant, given what happened before. But unlike Keela, it wasn't in my nature to avoid things. This time, the universe will not sway in your favor, but mine. This doesn't make any sense. I can't believe it. Seems to be written with the knowledge of my power? But I've never told anybody about my situation. Does someone on Earth know what's going on with me? I can no longer hope that this is a joke. There is more at play here than I know. Someone, somewhere, isn't being honest with me. I exit the hotel. I meet up with Keela and we enter the limo together. I do all of this knowing that I'm being watched, and that it is much harder than it sounds. Oh, Chapter 4. Stages of Grief. I think we're about halfway through, and that's without trying to do a 100% run. Ugh. As soon as we enter, we take our seats. The first thing I notice is that we are not alone. Rather than the front, Inumi sits in the back. But he's not alone. He's sitting with someone new. Since I've never met them, I introduce myself. I know who you are. Oh? I contemplate whether or not to offer him my hand, but at first glance he doesn't seem like the type. As I've learned, not everybody is into handshaking, and he looks like he's some sort of cop. You're the lucky two. That requires a lot of dedication, you know. But that is the trait I admire most. He gives a wide smile to Keela and myself. He offers me his hand. I guess I was wrong. I accept, and he leads it with a firm grip. Keela, however, does not, and remains seated. I let this man know that Keela is in shock, especially after the events that happened last night. I understand. It must not be easy. By the way, you can call me Archeron. Or Acheron? I was hired to ensure your safety. I'm told that you'll learn more shortly. I'll refrain from giving anything away. Leaking information would be irresponsible. He reclines back in his chair with a relieving sigh. So we have someone protect us now. That's awesome. Okay, hang on. So we have someone to protect us now. That's awesome. Oh, sorry, I just repeated myself. Suddenly, I'm not as worried about those text messages. He looks equipped enough to take on any trouble. But I still feel sorry for Keela. He's acting odd. I'm sure that given time, he'd come around. At this point, Jade starts the limo up and drives away. I'm not sure how long it will be until we arrive, but I need to sort this all out in my head. It's crazy. So, from what I can tell, I'm now being watched. But this person seems to know about my power as well. That perplexes me, because I thought it was a secret. In fact, I've never told a single soul about the Ark. Maybe I wasn't the only one who's been to the Ark. There is more to this, and I just needed to know. Hopefully I will learn more as the day progressed. And with Acheron to protect us, I'd be safe. I take a deep breath and close my eyes. At this point, Inumi breaks the silence. Hey, I have a question, Elsina. What's 75 multiplied by 110? A woman asked me earlier. I didn't know. Whoa, I was not in a state good for mental math. And no matter, I'm not good at math. And no matter what, that was just an odd thing to ask. Maybe he found the silence in the limo a little awkward. It's 8,250, Inumi. Really? Yeah, absolutely. That's so cool. You're smart. My big brother used to help me with this, but he was just so busy all the time. That's quite nice of your brother. I'd like to meet him, Inumi. It was Clace. I'm sorry. My apologies. Oh, I have an idea. You could take over and teach me math. The teachers always said it was important. It could save your life, they told me. I suppose that's true. We'll have to see what happens. There's a lot on the table now. I'm looking forward to Sinja's speech. The silence will be broken by an official. He's the most qualified to speak about this. Sinja's really smart. He knows what to say to make people happy. Maybe he can help make me happy again. Yeah, it's never easy losing a loved one, but I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. Not while you're by my side, Inumi. He reaches over and rubs the top of Inumi's head. His hair gets messed up, but he enjoys it. A white smile appears on his previously sad face. Okay, now that makes me happy. I was scared for all of our safety. I was worried we'd be next or something. Not on my watch, okay? Everybody will be fine. He smiles again, like everything is completely fine. Acheron was really nice through his cold exterior. I feel bad for judging him at first glance earlier, and Inui seemed like he'd be fun to hang around with. Before we continue talking, the limo stops. This wasn't as long of a ride as I expected. Inumi gets up to leave, but Acheron quickly interjects. Not now, Inumi. Please let me go first. It would be rude to expose you to danger. I'll make sure the coast is clear, okay? Wow, what a gentleman. He's definitely good at what he does. As he said, he leaves the limo first. A few moments pass, and he waves us all out. I'm glad that the coast is clear, danger-free. It was time to get some answers and to meet Singe. Inumi scoots out first, and after that, I follow behind. Keela seems like he's still lost in his own little world, but eventually he follows, as expressionless as a ghost. Outside, we're greeted to the sight of our home base. I guess this is where we'd spend most of our time. Looks beautiful, with a complex modern design. Would you like to save? Yes, I would. I think I'm going to cut this episode a little early, especially because the previous episode ran a little longer than I would have cared for. So with this, I'm going to say thank you guys so much for watching Major Minor Complete Edition with me, and I'll see you next time. Ciao!